Before the Good Friday Agreement, international tourism really didn't exist in Northern Ireland. What visitors want before they'll spend their leisure pound more than anything else is to know that they'll be safe and secure, and we weren't really in a position to promise that.
Well, I think it's an interesting place if you want some excitement, but quite frankly, one cannot, in all honesty, say that it's a very attractive place for obvious reasons. Look at all the jeeps and the army sculling around the place. Look at all the bomb damage. It's not really, I'm afraid to say, a great tourist centre at the moment.
Well, I did live in Germany in the late 80s, early 90s, and my job then was to sell Northern Ireland as an investment location. And it was incredibly difficult to do that. And I had colleagues of mine who were working for what was then ITIC at the time, and they were based in Frankfurt. Aubrey Irwin, as many people will know, Aubrey was in Frankfurt. I used to actually go and feel sorry, very, very sorry for Aubrey, because he had such more difficult task than I did at that point in time.
The 90s were a huge turning point for a whole host of reasons. European investment, more feel-good within Ireland itself, a more confident industry, and a realisation that people wanted to travel, the means to do so, the Ryanairs are coming along, really changed the landscape. Both jurisdictions, and the politicians who were helping to drive this forward, were looking at areas of cooperation, areas where it made sense for both jurisdictions to work together for mutual benefit. And tourism emerged as a key sector that could be an area of cooperation in the run-up to the agreement itself.
This has been a truly remarkable experience for me, and while I've engaged in many important public policy matters, I can say to you that never have I felt a sense of gratification and responsibility and gratitude that I feel today.
Will you walk with me through this world?
Things have just changed dramatically, and the Good Friday Agreement has been the catalyst to all of that, really. Well, I think what came along with the Good Friday Agreement was a sense of hope, a sense of renewed confidence, a sense of pride that hadn't been here for a quarter of a century. And people felt that there was an opportunity to rebuild the tourism industry.
Yes, Titanic Belfast has become an iconic building, and we've welcomed over 7 million visitors since we opened 11 years ago. Would that have been possible before the Good Friday Agreement? I don't think so.
Just the mere absence of the troubles was not in itself sufficient. Yes, there was an immediate sort of uptick of intrepid travellers, but it gave us, in the immediate aftermath, a platform to say, is tourism part of the Northern Ireland economy going forward? And that decision was taken slowly, and it was really from 2007 onwards that we put a programme in place to deliver product that would be in the front of the shopping basket when we were selling overseas. They were known at that time as the signature project, the most significant of which remains Titanic Belfast, but others included the Giant's Causeway Visitor Centre, putting it under the management of the National Trust, the walled city of Derry.
The time Titanic Belfast the conception came about, we had some really visionary civil servants and ministers who could see the value and the benefit of tourism. We also had some private sector investors who were willing to take a risk. I don't think that could have happened prior to the Good Friday Agreement.
The idea of having a single identity for the island of Ireland did create a number of challenges, but they were surmountable. The key thing we had to do was to, I suppose, identify the attributes that reflected the island, but be respectful of and make sure we communicated the diversity of the island, our different traditions, our different approaches, our different sense of identity.
And ultimately it became a much better place to live. And if a place is a great place to live, it typically becomes a great place to visit.
From where I sit, looking at the developments of tourism in both parts of the island over that time, it's really gratifying to see that tourism has gone from strength to strength. Cooperation, when it's done in a respectful way, which is mindful of the different traditions and different interests, works.
We have spent 25 years trying to break down those barriers. Really what we do not need is for those barriers to be rebuilt in any shape or form. So hopefully, as we get closer to the implementation period for the ETA, people will see some sense and some practical solutions will be brought to bear to make sure that the potential impact of that doesn't actually materialise.
I don't believe that Brexit of itself has changed the fundamentals of trying to promote the island of Ireland. But I do think it has created more complexity and challenge for the marketeers who are seeking to do that at the moment.
Your happiness.